You have executed a technically flawless audit. The sampling is rigorous, the risk matrices align perfectly, and the findings are indisputable. But the moment you introduce these findings to the business, the entire process jams. The standard professional reflex in this moment is to double down. When faced with resistance, auditors lean on strict, detached objectivity, pointing rigidly to the facts and the framework to force compliance. This approach consistently backfires. When stakeholders feel cornered by data rather than understood, they stonewall. Evidence requests get delayed, underlying issues remain hidden, and perfectly documented recommendations are completely ignored. Relying entirely on technical accuracy while ignoring human emotional dynamics is not a badge of professionalism. It is a failure of audit methodology. To extract necessary data and manage organizational pushback, auditors require a specific tactical capability, emotional intelligence, or EQ. Look at this diagnostic. There is a pervasive myth that EQ means being universally nice or avoiding difficult conversations. In reality, high EQ shifts the dial away from appeasement and locks directly into firm empathy. It requires setting and enforcing strict professional boundaries. You address conflict directly and constructively without accepting unacceptable behavior. This is also not about manipulating stakeholders. It requires an authentic, genuine understanding of the motives driving their behavior, interlocking their feelings with the established facts. Emotional intelligence does not replace your technical skills or your objectivity. It acts as an amplifier for your professional judgment. EQ is a calculated communication protocol. You use it to enforce compliance and drive change without triggering destructive hostility. This photograph shows psychologist Daniel Goleman. He bridged the gap between human psychology and professional performance by formalizing the modern emotional intelligence framework. We can visualize Goleman's framework as a structural model divided into internal and external dynamics. Here, the inner foundational pillars are self-awareness and self-regulation, supporting a central load-bearing core called motivation. This internal engine is about recognizing your own triggers, like your frustration when a stakeholder is evasive, pausing before you react, and anchoring yourself to a core motivation, genuine risk management, rather than executing a gotcha audit. The external interface relies on two outer pillars: empathy, which is reading the room to identify the fear driving defensiveness, and social skills, which allow you to build rapport while delivering hard truths. By mastering these 5 pillars, you transform unpredictable human reactions into navigable structural data points. Let's apply this framework to a high-friction scenario. A key stakeholder has delayed providing a critical piece of audit evidence for the 3rd time. This split screen shows 2 approaches. On the left is the standard reaction. This is the 3rd time you've missed the deadline. We need this by Friday or we'll report it. Notice the syntax highlighting here, flagging the aggressive tone. Mechanically, this fails. It leads with blame, ignores operational constraints entirely, and practically guarantees either defensive retaliation or complete stonewalling. Now look at the alternative on the right. I'm noticing we've had to extend the deadline. Are there specific obstacles? Let's talk about what's realistic. Here, the phrasing acknowledges the pattern without assigning blame. This specific phrasing firmly maintains professional boundaries. You are still addressing the missed deadline, but it actively invites collaboration to solve the delay. Looking back at the model, this requires strong self-regulation. You must suppress the urge to reprimand the stakeholder. The collaborative invitation relies on your social skills. It shifts the dynamic to cooperative problem-solving. Replacing blame with root cause curiosity is not a concession to the stakeholder. It is a superior tactic for actually acquiring the delayed evidence. Here is a higher stakes scenario. A vice president pushes back on your authority directly, claiming the audit team simply doesn't understand how the business works. This transcript interface shows the typical defensive reaction. We absolutely understand the business. The control deficiency exists regardless. This immediately establishes a defensive posture and dismisses their concern. This reactive posture fails because it prioritizes being right over being heard. It instantly escalates the tension into a zero-sum power struggle. Instead, you deploy a pivot. Help me understand what you mean. What about the business situation should we consider? You show genuine curiosity and de-escalate the room. The psychological mechanism here is crucial. Acknowledging a stakeholder's concern does not equate to agreeing with them, and it certainly does not mean dropping the audit finding. This action relies entirely on empathy and social awareness. You recognize that the VP's aggressive attack is likely masking a deep fear of personal exposure or criticism. By allowing the executive to feel heard, you disarm the hostility. This clears the air, allowing you to protect your strict audit objectivity. True audit authority isn't established by loudly defending your mandate. It is established by confidently absorbing and redirecting executive panic. Unlike IQ, which is relatively fixed, emotional intelligence is a flexible capability. It can be systematically trained and improved over time. Look at this development loop. The training starts here, by identifying your own emotional triggers. You map out the exact phrases and interactions that cause you to react defensively and journal your responses. The next phase requires physical self-observation. When you feel a trigger, you create a critical tactical pause, a deliberate gap between the stakeholder's pushback and your response. Finally, you run simulations. You role-play difficult stakeholder conversations with trusted colleagues before they happen in fieldwork to test your phrasing. Implementing this development loop transforms emotional regulation from a reactive scramble into a predictable, measurable workflow. Auditors who deploy this protocol experience less stress. They build stronger professional networks, and ultimately, they extract better, more accurate information. If you still worry that using empathy means being soft, remember this. The goal of internal audit EQ is absolutely not to be liked by everyone in the organization. The goal is to be universally respected, trusted, and operationally effective, even in deeply uncomfortable situations. Your technical skills allow you to find the control deficiency. Emotional intelligence is the tool that ensures the organization actually fixes it.